Good morning, America. My name is Enrique Mavunavella from Channel 6 News. Today's feature is one of the most horrendous aspects of our world's history, and unfortunately, the present as well. Slavery. On the show today, I'm honored to be joined by a recently revived Egyptian slave by the name of Cleopatra. And later, we will be joined by the incredibly brave Tim Veller, a recently escaped slave of modern-day trafficking. First, I'd like to welcome Cleopatra down to the stage. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, your English is flawless.
Well, it was easy to pick up. Back in my day, we had real languages.
I bet those picture alphabets were lovely.
You know, boy, I also picked up some slang.
Awesome. So, Cleopatra, our children learn a lot about Egyptian slavery in schools, but I have a few questions for your personal experience. First, I have to ask you, how did people become slaves during your time?
Well, some people were sold into slavery to pay off debts either by themselves or others, such as your parents selling a child into slavery. Others sold themselves into slavery to escape poverty. During times of little order in the kingdom, people, mostly women, were abducted and forced into slavery. Also, many were captured during the war and forced to be slaves.
That's miserable. So slavery was based mostly on those factors?
Yes, definitely. Slavery spiked during the New Kingdom when the pharaohs were determined to conquest, and because of that, the vast majority of the slaves at the time were prisoners of war. The rest were based mostly on debt, as explained before, or female abductees.
So, Cleo, can I call you that?
Yes.
What was your life like, and was it similar to other people of lower society of your time?
Our lives were often better than those of free peasants. We both had similar financial statuses, but we slaves were able to work in temples or households or wealthy families. Slave treatment was purely based on the morals of the master, so cruelty was common and went unpunished. Others might be treated as family members because of close bonds formed while in the service of the family. Also, since life expectancy was low, us slaves could somewhat be seen as part of a family and maybe even fill the void when loved ones died.
Well, that seems good for the lucky ones. How is slaves used for society in general?
Thinking of all the slaves in the big picture, we were capable of doing things that other free people could also. There were so many jobs for us, such as lowly laborers, all the way up to government administrators. It just mostly depended on the aptitude of that slave and what their masters needed done.
Interesting. So not all jobs were brutal?
Correct. Some slaves lived happy lives serving a caring family, but the vast majority lived in miserable conditions.
So in your opinion, what would you say is the worst part of being a slave?
Along with the cruelty from vicious masters, sexual acts towards females were horrible. Other than the normal reasons why this was so bad, it could result in severing the relationship between slave and the rest of the master's family, resulting in the loss of service and the slave being a peasant again with a child to raise.
Were their children usually born in slavery?
Most often they were born into slavery. Only a small minority of children in any part of Egyptian society did not inherit their parents' status.
Well, that's such a shame. You all were so strong to have endured all those hardships, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing all this information with us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. But I think I'll stay here in 2015 for a while.
Well, good luck and enjoy modern America.
Thank you.
That was Cleo. Wow, Cleopatra was quite a strong and brave man. Next on the show we have Tim Veller, so let's welcome him. Hi Tim, it's very nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, so modern slavery in the United States is something that our nation really doesn't know about, right? So would you mind telling us more about how you have become a victim of human trafficking and if it's actually similar to others?
Well, I became a victim because I was a foreign immigrant without a work visa and I needed to find work quick, so I signed the papers without reading the contract. So I was enslaved for 18 years. Others are sucked in the same way as me, but they have visas. Some are captured by traffickers or even forced to join because of unpaid debts to those traffickers.
That is terrible. So would you say that modern day slavery just consists of foreign immigrants?
Oh, no, not at all. There are many foreign immigrants engulfed in human trafficking, but there are many U.S. citizens involved as well, through being captured with young children, teenagers, and adults are involved in sex trafficking as well as labor trafficking.
You said sex trafficking and labor trafficking. What are all of the different ways that slaves are used in modern societies?
Like you said, there's sex trafficking and labor trafficking, but labor trafficking consists of agricultural jobs as well as manufacturing jobs for large conglomerate businesses. I was part of the labor traffickers that worked in agriculture.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what was your life like as a human trafficking victim?
I, as well as most other trafficking victims, was forced to live in small hidden rooms with very unhealthy and scarce meals and had to work long, harsh hours. Actually, being a trafficking victim, you have to pay a recruitment tax of about $6,000 a year, but they can be as high as $25,000 a year, which take away from our less than minimum wage incomes, which can easily put us into severe debt, extending our time in the trafficking program.
Well, that sounds very miserable, to be honest. So, Tim, what would you say the single worst part of being captivated in the human trafficking organization was?
I mean, it was all horrible, but I believe being separated from my family and the people I love the most was the single worst part because I couldn't go through it with the people that I loved.
I do understand that. So, it would be hard, speaking of people you love, what were done with the female trafficking victims' newborn babies while they were captured.
Well, their newborn babies were often killed for the most part because it would impede the traffickers' processes and agendas, but sometimes they were kept to be born in slavery and also help out with the jobs.
That is absolutely terrible, and I'm pretty sure you can all agree on that. So that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, Tim. It was great to have you here. It was a pleasure.
Great to be here.
Well, and thank you. Also, thank you, America, for watching. And don't miss the next episode of News Channel 6. Bye.